There is nothing in common between liberalism and leftism. Leftism is evil. Liberalism is honorable. And what we now have is the left doing what it always does, suppress dissent. I don't believe in Christ, just for the record. I am not a Christian. And they are not forcing, and they never did force anybody to believe in Christ. Even when they were really in power, they never forced one American to accept Christ. That's a pretty damn good record.
That's because it's not constitutional. You're making it seem like they had the option.
Dennis Prager went on the Young Turks to debate Cenk Uygur, and he absolutely destroyed Cenk Uygur. Let's get into this clip here, where Dennis Prager absolutely destroys Cenk Uygur's entire worldview. Of course, they talk about Donald Trump, and they talk about many other things. And Dennis Prager walks all over Cenk Uygur on all of these things, and Cenk has a bit of a meltdown. Let's get into this clip here, where Dennis Prager absolutely destroys Cenk Uygur on his own show, The Young Turks.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like you're not in favor of secularism, so I wanted to ask about that. So I never understand what you folks mean when you say we shouldn't be a secular country. Do you think religion should rule us? What do you mean?
I think that we should have a secular government and a religious population, just as the founders did. That's why In God We Trust is one of the 3 mottos of our country. And we are now seeing the consequences in every area of life of the death of Christianity. And I say this as a religious Jew, the death of the Judeo-Christian value system, the death of the 10 Commandments, and the death of all the things that came with religion, meaning and community and moral absolutes among them. The death of religious values is why we can now say there are more than 2 sexes, and that we shouldn't call kids boys and girls in schools anymore. We are living in the age of moral and intellectual chaos because of the death of religion.
Okay, so poll just came out today, I think actually. 61% of Republicans say we should be a Christian nation, but don't get them twisted. They're not saying, hey, just be Christian at home. 57% of them, of Republicans, say, no, we know it's unconstitutional. We know that it's not in the Constitution. We can't establish a religion, but we want to do it anyway. 61% say, no, we want it. So that seems to be establishing a religion, Christianity. Do you think 61% of Republicans are wrong?
They didn't say they want to establish a religion. They said they wanted a Christian country. I'd rather have a Christian country than a secular country, and I'm a Jew.
Okay, so help me understand what a Christian country means.
You kind of have to be a bit evil and twisted in the head to think that a Christian nation would be worse off than a secular nation. You know, that's than a non-Christian nation. You know, straight up. Yeah. If it's just even if you just instill Christian values into someone and they don't actually, they don't actually go to church, they don't actually pray to Jesus, they don't do any of that stuff. Even if they just have the values, even if that is what at the forefront of it, and you instill those Christian values into everybody in the country, it's going to be a whole lot better off than having no moral compass. And that's where we're kind of at right now, where everybody's just kind of in free for all. Like nobody knows what is right. No, everybody's saying actually that there is no right and there is no wrong and there is no good and evil. There's just whatever you want to do and then whatever you don't want to do, and you just always just do whatever you want to do. It's crazy, man. And so if we actually do have a Christian nation and we start pushing that and put the 10 Commandments in schools again and stuff like that, and make it cool to be Christian again, it's going to help the country a whole lot. It's going to bring back the nuclear family. It's going to bring back actual morals, probably, slow the crime rate down. That's probably like the biggest thing that we could do. Yeah, you could add more police officers everywhere and get harder on crime and stop being, stop, instead of trying to solve the crime problem, just raising the bar for what constitutes a crime. Probably the best thing that you could do to stop crime or slow crime down is just push Christianity on people again. Make Christianity cool again. Stop making it this like evil taboo thing to talk about. Like, oh, you want to put the 10 Commandments in schools? That's really unconstitutional. Like, okay. And, like, even if it is against the Constitution, like, that's up to interpretation, number one. And number two, even if it is, it's still going to benefit the country massively if Christian values are instilled in people. Because like I said, if these people, if they don't have a religion to follow, if they have no moral compass, then they just do whatever they feel is right in the moment. And that's not really a good way to live life. We're human with human urges. And so like, if you get angry and you're like, man, I want to kill this guy, and you have no moral compass, you might just kill him. You don't know. But if you have that moral compass, if you have Christianity, if you have something, a set of values, a set of principles instilled in you by the Bible or by a Christian school that you go to or whatever, you're a lot less likely to just act on those human urges, because you'll actually have a set of rules to follow. And most of these people in America nowadays, they don't have that. They just do whatever they feel like doing at any time. And like I said, not only that, but they're pushing onto other people that there is no such thing as right and wrong. There is no such thing as good and evil. It's just whatever you want to do.
Does that mean you establish a religion, Christianity?
No, established. There was never an established religion in the country, and Christians aren't for it. I work with Christians. I know I work more with Christians than with Jews. My synagogue is Jews, but I work with Christians. I'm at churches all the time. I never heard one of them say, let's establish Christianity.
What does it mean?
But Protestants believe deeply in the separation of church and state.
I don't see that at all, and it's not in the poll. 57% said, yeah, we know it's unconstitutional. They mean establish a religion. Now you're trying to make it like that the Republicans don't actually mean that. So what do they mean when they say we want a Christian nation, not like the one that's in the Constitution?
Right. I don't know the constitutional part. This is brand new to me. So I can't comment. I can only tell you that when Christians say they want a Christian nation, they want a nation that is governed by Christian moral principles and not the moral chaos that we see today. And I am a supporter of that notion.
Governed means the state.
And
but anyway, go ahead, Ann.
I'm sorry, I don't believe in Christ, just for the record. I am not a Christian. And they are not forcing, and they never did force anybody to believe in Christ. Even when they were really in power, they never forced one American to accept Christ. That's a pretty damn good record.
That's because it's not constitutional. You're making it seem like they had the option.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
So I want to ask.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
You just said if they have power, you're afraid, correct?
Well, first of all, no, I didn't say that. But I didn't say that. But Dennis, yeah, I'm worried that your dear leader Donald Trump doesn't believe in democracy. He's gonna. He said he had a system to put in fake electors. Now you got 61% of Republicans say, screw it, let's just be a Christian nation. Let's establish basically be run by a Christian mullah. Okay, and so do you think Trump wouldn't say I'm that mullah and we're not having democracy? He'd do that in a second. You think that he cares about the rest of us? A lifelong con man who only cares about his own power and wealth. If you can't see that, Dennis, you're being purposely blind.
The man was president for 4 years. He was far more open than Joe Biden and the Democrats are, who are using the FBI to suppress dissent and who are using the New York Times and CNN. This is the least free America has been in its history, Dennis, in terms of free speech and freedom of dissent. And it's because of the Democrats and the left. Trump was in office.
Obama had taken classified documents from the White House home with him, and if the federal government with the DOJ gave him multiple chances, multiple opportunities to just return the classified top secret documents, and he didn't do it, and that led to a raid, would you be on this show right now providing cover for Obama? I'm genuinely curious. I want you to give me an answer.
If it were part of a systemic use by a Republican government of suppression of Democrats, I would damn well be on this program saying that.
He had every opportunity to just return the documents, and he refused to do it. No one should be held above the law, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think that's.
It's funny how they changed the subject from what Dennis Prager was talking about there, where he was saying that Donald Trump's America was way more free than Joe Biden's America ever was, and that Donald Trump was more open than Joe Biden ever was. And that's 100% facts, because Donald Trump, people don't realize, but maybe back in 2016, he was really hard, and he really wasn't accepting of other people, other opinions and stuff like that. And 2024 and 2025 now, I don't want to say soft, but he's definitely softened up a whole lot, and he's more accepting to a lot of different beliefs. I mean, he's going on all type of lives. Like, he was going on Aiden Ross's stream. He's going on all these different podcasts that you would never think Donald Trump would go on. All these different people of different religions, of different races, of different political affiliations, all this stuff. And now, he's saying that he would never sign a national abortion bill. And I disagree with that, but it's definitely a more open stance than Joe Biden, who was like, the whole Democrat left side, the woke left, all of them are just pro-abortion. They're not even, anti-pro-life. They're like, bring on all the abortions. That's what they want. And so, and if you're not like that, by the way, you get kicked out of the woke left and you'll never even be a Democrat nominee. So the fact that Donald Trump is willing to hear out both sides, and he's like, I'm not fully anti-abortion or anything like that. He's just open to hearing both sides. And so when Dennis Prager is saying that Donald Trump is much more open than Joe Biden and Joe Biden's America ever was, it's facts. It's 100% facts. Donald Trump is actually open to hearing both sides, going on all these different shows and listening to different opinions. Joe Biden and the Democrats would never do any of those things. None of them would ever do any of those things. And the country is way worse off than Donald Trump's America was in 2016 to 2020. And I don't know how anyone can debate that. And also, add on top of that, it's way worse off now. And we were literally in lockdowns for a lot of it, for like half of it.
Should be controversial. I don't care if it's a Democrat. I don't care if it's a leftist. I don't care if it's a Republican. You can't break the law repeatedly and just assume that you're entitled to be treated above the law. Why do you think it's okay to provide cover for criminality like that?
Let me tell you what every one of us who is a conservative believes, knows. There are political prisoners in the United States for the first time in American history, and it's because the left is in power, and there is no instance in the history of the world since Vladimir Lenin of the left being in power and allowing dissent. It was liberals in power in the past with Democrats. Today it is leftists. There is a huge difference. I wrote of 32 differences between liberalism and leftism in a column that anyone can find on the internet. I'll give you one example. Leftists believe in all black dormitories, like at Columbia University, where I went. Liberals do not believe in all black dormitories. There is nothing in common between liberalism and leftism. Leftism is evil, liberalism is honorable. And what we now have is the left doing what it always does, suppress dissent.
That's 100% facts from Dennis Prager right there. He absolutely cooked Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian. He's so good at it, man. He's so good at staying calm whenever, and Cenk and Anna, they're not the most insufferable of leftists. There's a whole lot more insufferable people to have conversations with than Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian for sure. But some of the things that they say, it's just like, how do you even come to this conclusion? It's like... It's very obviously these things are just fed to them through the chips in their brain or from the machine state. They just get these talking points and they regurgitate them. Anna Kasparian has gotten a lot better at it about not doing that, but Cenk Uygur is still very much doing that all the time. And Dennis Prager just sits there and he's like, yeah, I hear you, but here's exactly why you're wrong. And he just calmly absolutely dismantles their entire argument. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Dennis Prager versus Cenk Uygur situation live on the Young Turks.